This is part 2 of this homework assignment, and we'll be covering section 6.2, numbers 7, 10, 16, 20, and 21. Number 7, C divided by negative 10 is less than or equal to negative 2. Okay, we want to get C by itself. That's our first priority. Currently there is a negative 10 that's being divided, that's dividing C. So in order to get rid of this negative 10 so that C will be by itself, we multiply by a negative 10. Whatever we do to this side, we have to do to this side. Okay? These negative 10s are going to cancel, leaving C by itself. Now, we just multiplied by a negative number to cancel out this negative number. Since we multiplied both sides by a negative number just now, we must flip that sign. Negative 2 times negative 10 is a positive 20. Okay? The only time this sign flips is when you multiply both sides by a negative number. Or, in the other case, like number 10, we have a negative number that's already multiplied to this p. So in order to get p by itself, we have to divide by the negative 5. This is number 10, by the way. Since we're going to have to divide by a negative number, that means this sign is going to flip. So anytime we multiply or divide by a negative number to get a variable by itself, this sign flips. Let's look at number 10. So I just kind of gave it away. We have negative 5p is less than or equal to 2. We want p by itself. And currently it's multiplied by negative 5. So we're going to divide by negative 5. Negative 5 divided by negative 5, that's 1. But whatever we do to that side, we have to do to this side. Okay, so the negative 5 cancels. We're left with p. Move it straight down and flip it because we divided by a negative. And this is just negative 2/5. Okay, so notice on 7 and 10, this inequality sign flipped because we multiplied by a negative number or divided by a negative number. That's the only time those signs are going to flip, unless you're trying to rearrange the order, like we did with addition and subtraction. Okay, so I trust that you know how to graph this. If you're not sure, go back to my 6.1 section and watch some tips on graphing. I'm going to graph number 10 just because we're not really used to graphing fractions. So what is negative 2/5? Where is that on the number line? Well, it's negative, so I'm going to put a 0. 2/5. That is 2, 3. So I've just divided this into 5 segments. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're going to go backwards 2/5. 1/5. And this one is negative 2/5. Okay? It can be equal to, so we bold the dot. And we want all of the numbers that are greater than or equal to negative 2/5. So that would be this way. So we'll bold it that way. It's important to know which two numbers a fraction lies in between, and that will help you graph it so you know about the location of where that point should be. Okay, so that was number 10. Number 16. This is another word problem like the one in 6.1 where we have to translate from English to math. So we have the product of 12 and y is greater than or equal to 60. Let's break this down. The product of 12 and y. What does that mean? Product. That tells us to multiply. So 12 times y is greater than or equal to. So this is greater than or equal to 60. Awesome. We know how to do this. 12y is greater than or equal to 60. There's a 12 multiplied to the y, so we divide it so that y will be by itself. And whatever we do to the left, we must do to the right. These 12s are going to cancel as planned. This is going to stay the same because that number that we just divided was positive, so we have no worries. 60 divided by 12 is 5. Okay? And I'm going to let you graph that on your own. There's a hint. I'll let you decide which way you've got to bold it. Okay. So number 20 on section 6.2 says, you are in charge of buying the flowers for the flower beds around your school. You cannot spend over $80 on flowers. The flowers cost $10.99 for a flat of flowers. What are the possible numbers of flats of flowers you can buy? So we were just given quite a bit of information, so let's break it down. The first sentence just tells you what you're doing. The second sentence says, you cannot spend over $80 on flowers. That sounds like an important number. I'm going to write it down. That's the most money we can spend. The flowers cost $10.99 for a flat of flowers. Okay, so I've got $10.99. Alright, let's figure out how these two numbers are going to relate. It asks, what are the possible numbers of flats of flowers you can buy? Let's see how we're going to break this down. So, X is going to be the possible numbers of flats of flowers. So, the number of flats of flowers. Okay? Yeah, that was bad, I know. We have a budget that we're working with. So however much we spend, which is going to be here on the left side, needs to be less than or equal to our budget of $80. Now, we don't know the number of flats of flowers that we have yet. So we're going to put an X there so that we can figure that out. We know that we're going to multiply the cost by the number of flowers to figure out what number of flowers we can get that's less than our budget. So we want to get X by itself. It's being multiplied by $10.99, so I'm going to divide by $10.99. Whatever we do to one side, we must do to the other. This is a positive number that we're dividing, so we need not worry about flipping this inequality. It can stay the same. 80 divided by $10.99, whatever that equals, that'll be your answer. 80 divided by $10.99, 7.28. Okay, X must be less than or equal to 7.28. Well, how does that apply to the question? Remember, X is the number of flats of flowers, okay? So, the question asks, what are the possible numbers of flats of flowers you can buy? 7.28? You can't buy 7.28 of a flat of flowers. The number of flowers, flats of flowers that you can buy must be less than 7.28. So, can we buy 8? No, we can't. Can we buy 7? Yes. So, our answer here, you can buy up to 7. Or, I guess I'll take ownership. I can buy up to 7 flats. Okay, so for 21, it says you and 3 of your friends decide to rent a pavilion at a local park for an end of the school year party. The group budget is $80. The group decides to split the cost equally. Okay, so we saw that our group budget is $80. So I'm going to write that here. That's an important number. Now it said we're going to all split it equally, but wait, how many people were there? You and 3 of your friends. That sounds like 4 people to me. So 4. They asked on part A, what are the possible amounts of money that each of you can spend? So I'm going to let X be money each spends. Okay, so however much we spend needs to be less than our budget. That's what a budget's for, to make sure that you don't spend over your budget. Can we spend exactly the budget? Sure. So we put a less than or equal to sign. Now, the number of people times how much we spend each must be less than or equal to 80. So the money each spends, that's X. We don't know how much we're going to spend yet. That's why we're doing the equation, the inequality. Alright, we want X by itself, so we divide by 4. The 4's cancel. Leaves X by itself. The number we just divided was positive, so this gets to stay the same. 80 divided by 4 is 20. Alright, so to answer the question, what are the possible amounts of money that each of you can spend? We can each spend up to $20. Okay? Part B. If 2 more of your friends decide to pitch in for the party, what are the possible amounts of money that each of you can spend if you all split the cost equally? Okay, so remember 4 represented how many people were contributing to the budget. Now the budget is still $80 because it says the group budget is $80, except this time there's 6 people contributing because it said 2 more. So 2 more than 4 is 6. We still want it to be less than $80. The number of people times how much each spends must be less than or equal to $80. Okay, we want to get X by itself. It's being multiplied by 6, so I divide by 6. Whatever I do to one side, I must do to the other. These 6's are going to cancel. This number was positive, so this just comes straight down without flipping. Now 80 divided by 6. 80 divided by 6. 13.33. We can each spend how much? Up to $13.33. And that answers your question. If you have any more questions about some work that I've done, if it just didn't make sense, you can comment. If this video was helpful, give it a thumbs up. And if you have any more questions that you just don't know how to ask in a comment, come to class early. You know where Miss Medina's room is. Be there at 8:15. I hope this was helpful and look forward to more videos in the future.